The following is a presentation of the Golden Eagle Broadcast Network. Student-led, student-centered, student-serving.
Our season really well. We got a good few wins right under our belt.
Coming away with a 59-point win. Beat Legacy here in a 38-point win.
And then we kind of hit a rough patch, and we just couldn't put anything together from what we worked on in practice in the game. Thankfully, though, we were able to kind of pull it together. I think we finished the season really strong, and I'm really proud.
The past is gone.
Gallegos goes right, back to her left. Little jumper. Gallegos connects. First ball. Three on the way from Southbury. Absolutely. Gardner for three. It's good! It'll be right back. Pull up three. Takes the contact. And one! Welcome into Frederick, Colorado, home of the Frederick Golden Eagles. That's tonight, CHSAA 5A Girls Basketball Round 2 here on the Golden Eagle Broadcast Network. Number 39 ranked Pueblo County comes into the Freddy's Nest trying to take down the number 7 ranked Frederick Golden Eagles in an invigorating Round 2 playoff matchup. As I'm Ian MacHendrie, alongside me is Carly Evans. Carly, how are we doing tonight?
Honestly, Ian, what a way to start a game, right? Looking at Pueblo County Hornets and comparison to your Frederick Golden Eagles. Your Golden Eagles right now, they're feeling good, ranked at number 7, as you previously said. Pueblo, a little shaky, ranked number 39. Whenever I was talking pregame to Zoe Whitler, she kind of mentioned a few things in particular, some that I'm going to touch on a little bit later, but one of the big mentalities that they have going into this game is that Frederick is ready and Frederick is feeling good. They're fired up. Zoe in particular, she mentioned how Kaylee Gardner, she was pumped for this game. She's psyched. She feels extremely confident with the outcome of this game, whereas Zoe, you know, she was feeling a little bit of angst, a little bit of nerves, right? Especially being such a key player and just having the impact that she does. She wants to be on her A game. And another thing that she mentioned is weak guards and the fact that they're going to attempt significant pressure on Pueblo County. They're going to be running a lot of traps to pressure guards in particular.
Yeah, I agree. You know, this team, Pueblo County, you know, they're 39th ranked on the stat sheet. So you don't want to just look at that and be like, okay, this is just an easy opponent. And like you said, Zoe's got that kind of worried. You know, it's a playoff game. This is round 2 of the playoffs. You know, they did just go into the 26th ranked Widefield and upset them by 12 points in a 55-43 matchup win. And, you know, that was a tough game. Widefield, you know, they struggled. And Pueblo County, they just came in. They had more energy. They had more motivation. They were ready to go. And I'm excited for Frederick to see what they can do tonight. You know, after the season, pulling it all together, you know, playoff basketball. Last year, me and you were here up in the booth, and we looked good in the playoffs. We looked very, very stable.
Very calm, cool, and collected, right?
Exactly.
Your 3 C's of the game.
As you know, Zoe Whitler, key player. You already talked to her pregame, but I have her written down as one of our key players. You know, she had a Legacy game against Legacy. Funny enough, she had a Legacy game against Legacy. She also leads the team in points and steals with a 13.1 points per game plus a 3.3 steals per game. So she's overall just like the all-around star that you want on this team, and you need it. You need it bad. As also for our team, you talked about Kaylee Gardner too. Kaylee Gardner, she's going to be the big girl in the paint. You know, she's got to get rebounds. She's got to dominate down low, especially against, you know, Pueblo's Tylee Glynn, forward, 6 foot tall as a sophomore. She's coming in. She's got the height. She's got the domination down low. She will get boards. As, you know, Carly, we'll take a look at your keys for tonight's game.
Yeah, the 3 main keys that I have for this game, the first one is don't fall victim to Pueblo County. Kind of like what you were talking about, right? It's like an entirely clean slate whenever you're looking at the playoffs, and that's kind of the mentality. I've talked with Zoe about it before. You don't want to go into a game thinking about your previous record, and you don't want to go into the game anticipating that you're going to win or you're going to lose. Those are all you know, the probability of either one is a 50-50 shot, and you can't take either one for granted. And so one of the things that I have for don't fall victim to them is just underestimating opponents is a commonality in playoffs, especially with a win deficit between the two. But don't underestimate the potential between the two, right? There's a big difference between that. The second one that I have is Monitor Stupnick. She's a junior, and she is the fierce competitor that I had highlighted in my notes.
She's like their Zoe Whitler,
Yes,
essentially.
exactly. And whenever I was talking with my mom pregame, that's one of the things that she mentioned. She was like, you know, that girl sounds oddly similar to Zoe Whitler, just statistically, and whenever you watch how she plays, and she is not to be taken lightly.
What I have seen with Frederick, you know, coming in against a team that has a Zoe Whitler like that, we lock them down. Zoe gets in there, locks them down, doesn't allow anything to happen. They get like 2-3 points on Zoe. So I think tonight, Zoe, that's her matchup. Stubnick is who you're going to eliminate, and that's a Zoe Whitler task.
Exactly. Last one that I have is capitalizing on early points. Frederick is like kind of significant for their early jump in front with an average of about 26.5 points put up before half. Pueblo, on the other hand, is only known for 19.5, so below 20. This means Frederick's jump in front average is almost 30% more than Pueblo County's. Plus, Frederick averages 52.8 points a game, whereas Pueblo County is a mere 37.8 points a game, and that's a 29% advantage of points scored over Pueblo County for Frederick. So they have an advantage going into the game, but obviously, as we talked about, don't take it for granted and just take it at face value that you're going into the playoffs with an entirely clean slate.
Yeah, one play at a time, 1 quarter at a time, 1 minute at a time, essentially. As now we are going to send it down to the court with Allie Fullerton. Allie.
Go. Thanks, Carly. I'm down here on the sideline where the Golden Eagles are ready to not only defend their home court, their undefeated home court win streak, but also push further into playoffs. Coming in at 17-6, they've been dominant on their home court this season, and the energy of the team is high as they gear off for the first round of CHSAA playoffs. The crowd is buzzing and the team is locked in, looking to keep their perfect home record intact. Let's see if the Eagles can soar further into the playoffs. Back up to you, Carly.
Thank you, Allie, as we're back up here. As like we were talking about with your points per game and stuff, we can take a look at this comparison between the two teams. As Pueblo County 10-14 on the year, 39th ranked in 5A. They average, like you said, 37 points per game, which is a nice little clean number there. Nice to look at. Frederick 52.4 on the season, as they just dominated most of the season. They had a little rough patch, as you saw in that little hype video. Zoe talked about it. That little rough patch that they had through the season. And, that started around a Meade time where we lost a few games there, but then we just brought it back up, ended the season really well, I felt. Rebounds per game, this is where I was talking about Tylee Glenn and, Stubnick, I think, as well, down low in the paint. They dominate. They get those rebounds. They do what they do. They average about 30 a game, which is crazy. And, we average about 28.1.
So kind of talking on whenever you're talking about rebounds in particular, one of the statistics that I have is that Riley Stupnick, she averages 8.9 rebounds a game, which in itself, that's insane. Whenever you're comparing that with the WNBA, the league's top rebounders average between 9.5 to 13 rebounds for each game in a season, and the national average is 2.8, but she has surpassed it.
Yeah, and you said she was a junior too, so still a whole nother year for her to improve on her game. We jump over to assists per game. This is where, the Zoe Whitlers, the Riley Gallegos for our team, they dominate. 11.7 on the year to Pueblo's measly 8.8, which, is not a horrible, but you want to be passing the ball a lot more than that. You want to be getting more points off assists. And it's just going to be a good look tonight as last but not least, steals per game. Zoe Whitler, we talked about Riley Gallegos, Avery Salisbury. These are three that just come into the game and they just dominate getting those steals. 14.5 on the year. 10.8 measly Pueblo coming into tonight.
Touching a little bit more on Riley Gallegos and kind of the threat that she is in herself. Riley is on an offensive tear right now. She has an average of 13.2 points per game over her last 5 games, and she's had a career best 21 on 8 of 13 shooting in a win over Longmont last weekend. So she has been up to par, beyond par. She has played exceptionally well these past 5 games, demonstrating that she deserves a top spot.
Yeah, Riley Gallegos, she's definitely stepped up her game. Her and Avery Salisbury, the dynamic duo me and Jackson talk about a lot. Those two together dominate on the court. And you want those two at the same time on each other, with each other on the court. They were practicing behind the back passes early. I saw Avery one-hand toss from half court, drain a half court shot. As we can take a look at Pueblo's depth chart coming into tonight's game. Their team, they're still a decently young team. They've got some seniors here and there, but besides that, it's a younger team. A lot of room to improve next year. As a 10-14 record, you want to get improved on that. You don't want that to happen again, but you still make the playoffs. You get the upset in the first round. Then you come in and take on a behemoth matchup in a number 7 seeded Frederick, who dominated in a 17-6 record on the season. As we will send it to the court for the national anthem. As we are back up here in the booth, Carly, some of my keys for Frederick's team. We have an 11-0, a last 11 matches here at home, a dominating 6-0 at home this season, trying to keep that rolling, defend the home court. This is where they play their best game. This is where, the team works the best together. And just look overall, the best team Frederick becomes is here at home, here at tonight. I said another one of my keys is just to dominate. Come out of the gate, scoring fast. You talked about that in your keys. You got to come out strong. Pueblo's team, they started slower in the first quarter, so come out, dominate, and just get going. As now we'll take a look at Pueblo's starting 5 for tonight's game. As we've got, Olivia Cooper. She's a pretty good, guard. She's one of the smaller guards, but she can get down low. She can get some plays going. Next up, we were talking about, Chloe Cortez. She's also strong down low in the paint. She does very well. And then Rihanna Muller, Maria Romero, another one of my key players for Pueblo. She dominates. She doesn't really look to shoot, though. She's more of an assist player. She looks to pass. She looks, pass first, then shoot. If the option's there, she's going to take it. Who wouldn't at that situation? And last but not least, Tylee Glenn. We already talked about her and how dominant she's been in the paint. 6-foot-tall sophomore. It just looks so good. As now we take a peek at, Frederick's starting 5 for tonight's game. Looking great. As we are back up here in the booth, Carly, just moments away from CHSAA 5A playoff basketball round 2 here in Frederick, Colorado, home of the Golden Eagles. So see the teams break it down. One team's going home tonight, sad. Might be Frederick, might be Pueblo. We will find out.
Hey, it's the 50-50 shot, right? You never know until it hits 0 on the clock.
Until the final buzzer sounds. And as we see Gardner in there, taking the tip for Frederick, per usual, as we are just ready to get going here in Frederick. Round 2 basketball here on the Golden Eagle Broadcast Network. As we started off, Pueblo County with a big tip win. Gallegos swats that one out of bounds. It's going to be Pueblo County ball in the inbound.
Emma, she stayed glued to her matchup, right? You saw Rivera following her pretty much alongside her.
As that one going to roll out of bounds, going to be Frederick ball. As we'll take a look at the Freddy 5, who we got to see get announced there. As you know, it's Rivera, Salisbury, Gardner, Gallegos, and of course Zoe Whitler. Same starting 5 has been pretty much this entire season except for the Izzy Howard substitution. Injury came in middle of the season, so Rivera came in, stepped into a big role. As here we go, knocked away there. Whitler's going to hit the line, going to be Pueblo County ball. That's some nice pressure there on the end line.
Seeing it from up here, right? I mean, Zoe was probably half a step away from staying in.
It was very, very close, and it's hard to tell from up here. But, you know, the ref's going to be right there. He's going to make that call 9 times out of 10. If she's out of bounds, she's out of bounds. And, you know, Zoe knew it, too. She gave a little, you know, I did that. I know I did that. Heavy pressure from Salisbury. Knocks it loose. Flying Eagles all over the floor. It's going to be a foul on Gallegos.
Gallegos, I mean, she stayed with that pressure, right? That mentality that they're trying to follow through this entire game. Salisbury with a nasty swat, too.
Yeah, one of my last keys there was, you know, play through the whistle. You know, you never know when a play is going to end, and, you know, it's those layups where you think you're going to get the contact, but you don't get the contact and you miss the layup. You just got to stay dominant. Cooper up top, chucking it a little too much. Salisbury in there, just got a hand on it, but couldn't do much with it. McCaffrey with it, back to Cooper. Kicked it out, there's Glenn, covered by Whitler. Along the perimeter, the crowd settling in here in Frederick. Up top, McCaffrey. Frederick ball.
It'll be Frederick's basketball.
I think
as that'll be a foul on Cortez.
Chloe Cortez there.
An early call, too. I mean, we're only a few minutes in. And
a foul on each way.
Yeah, already making costly mistakes.
Gallegos finding Rivera. Finding Whitler on the wing. Back up top. There's Salisbury. Rivera lost it a little. Gets it back. Gallegos. Frederick moving around the perimeter right now. Trying to get down low. Gallegos with the right. Back to the left. Finding Rivera on the left wing side. Finds Whitler. Whitler driving. Kicks it. Gallegos. Finds Rivera. 3 on the way. Off that time. Rebound. Gallegos found it. Halts. Whitler's 3 on the way. Connects! Zoe Whitler.
Frederick still able to capitalize even after the first shot by Rivera wasn't good. And kind of looking at what Pueblo County was doing, they were playing kind of like sagging man-to-man, right? They were kind of backing off.
They were expecting the screens and movement.
Exactly.
Deep throw down there, miscommunication. Pueblo loses it. Gardner gets it. Finds Gallegos. Gallegos finding Whitler in the run. Too much on it that time.
It's tricky to make those shots, especially on the run, right? Whenever you're in motion, you have to kind of predict where, in this case, where Zoe was going to be. And that's hard to do while in motion and trying to keep it away from defenders.
High moving pass got there. Spudnick finds Cooper. Cooper brings it along the perimeter. Moving around. Salisbury putting some good defense on McCaffrey. McCaffrey finding Cooper. Cooper outside. Cutting, McCaffrey, too much on it. Hits Gallegos' hand out of bounds, going to be Pueblo's ball.
Another thing that Zoe was kind of talking about that you could see there kind of on that play is Pueblo County tends to bounce around outside. They don't like to go in the paint or close to the board, which is interesting because typically you want to have a girl that's right there so you could possibly shoot.
As the ball just missed thrown, Rivera with that full court pressure all the way through. Salisbury with a hand on it, fighting through. Down low, working it down low. Whitler covering, cutting. A lot of contact down low. Hold's going to be called. That's Cortez with it. I think that one's going to be on Gallegos, I believe.
So that'll be Pueblo County's ball. And saw them stacking up defensively, right? 2-on-1.
Yeah, 2-on-1. That foul was on Rivera. Up top, Cooper. Moving it around. Looking for an option. Gardner high pressing. There's Glenn, covered by Whitler, cutting down low. Sputnik, shot no good, rebounded by Gardner.
Gardner, what a way to stay with Sputnik, even through traffic. She got a little lost in the commotion, but she did a great job coming back and backpedaling to her.
That's another, miscommunicated pass between Gallegos and Whitler there. Just misreading where they're gonna be. And this is the sloppy, the little sloppy start that you don't want to see.
These are the justified nerves that we were talking about, right? That angst where it's like, can't let this sloppiness impact you.
Foul called on Gardner. A little push they called.
Gardner, she's got to be careful early on. I mean, you still 5 minutes and 11 seconds left in this first quarter.
Yep, getting your first foul especially. Me and Jackson talk a lot about Micah Thompson, who comes off the bench, fills in that Gardner role. She does a very, very good job at that, but this is playoff basketball now. You want Gardner in at majority of the game. Riley Gallegos got it off the Salisbury tip. Gallegos with the left hand finishes the lay.
Wow, what a hustle. Gallegos, she saw the opportunity.
Finding Salisbury down low. Right hand lay is good. Gardner with the contact. Timeout. Pueblo County.
Back to back. I mean, both times we saw them drive in and just lay it off the glass. What a job. We talked about the telepathy, the twin telepathy between the two of them, between Salisbury and Gallegos. And that right there, perfect demonstration and representation of the two of them being on par and in sync with one another and knowing this is where the ball is going to go whenever you're looking for the rebound. And here's where you're going to have to sit in order to grab Gallegos' rebound.
Yeah, I mean, that was just a wonderful job as well by Gardner to knock that ball loose and then keeping her head up to see Salisbury at the low block. Just make something happen. As now we look at the Fredericks depth chart, the whole entire team, some of these key pieces coming off the bench, Stone, Torres, as Gardner rips it away again. Out to the corner, down low, Whitler kicks it out. Gallegos' three on the way. It's good! 10-0 run to start the first for Frederick.
Banging another three. My goodness, 10-0 as Ian put it. And Gardner has been on point. We've seen her bat, we've seen her snatch. She's played both offense and defense perfectly to a T tonight so far.
Frederick will get that ball off the jump. What a start from Frederick here at home.
This is probably the most dominant performance I think I've seen.
Gallegos using that speed, running around this Pueblo defense, slipping up on her own foot, finding cutting Whitler. Whitler contact, go to the line. We talk about this a lot, me and Jackson. Whitler's not afraid to get down low and make plays.
And she shouldn't be afraid, quite frankly. You want to be competitive, and part of that competitiveness, it comes with the physicality behind it. And you need to be physical in order to go to the line as often as Whitler does.
She drops the first free throw there. Trying to extend this to a 12-0 run to start the first quarter.
What a start.
As she misses that one, Gardner grabs the rebound as well. But a travel called by Gardner.
Gardner, that's her second call early on. 4 minutes and 14 seconds still left. And we are really, really early on into this game. You mentioned she's a key player. You cannot afford to lose her. You want her to play as much as possible.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to lose her. Rivera and Whitler with a high pressing defense. Still in it. They're just playing handoff ball. Travel's going to be called. Going to go back to Frederick.
The pressure finally gets to them. Pueblo County, they've been left speechless early on. I haven't seen them do much of anything. The pressure from Whitler, you know, you create kind of this little trap, right? And you don't want them to go anywhere or, you know, narrow down their lanes.
Yeah, you don't want them going really anywhere out of their own end. Try to get that 10-second call. Torres is checking the game. Whitler's going to pull another one. Nails it! Zoe Whitler again.
Zoe Whitler making this 14-0. As Pueblo County, really, they haven't even been able to
get anything.
Glance it off the backboard like once.
As they drop
I
the
jinxed
first
it.
one there. You know, that's one that Frederick can give up. A little miss to a rebound. Salisbury there to knock away that first opportunity. As now Frederick is back on the offense. Torres and Thompson have checked in. Salisbury back to Gallegos. Gallegos to Torres in the corner. Torres trapped, trying to find a way out. Finds Salisbury. Little jumper off the iron that time. Ball bouncing around. Whitler with the hustle play, getting that rebound back. Finding her teammate. Gallegos driving, contact, shot, drops it!
My goodness, a little jumper from Gallegos.
She gets a piece and gets the steal. Whitler shot drops! What a start from Frederick!
If there's any game that Frederick should feel confident in starting off, it is tonight.
What a performance right now from Zoe Whitler. As Thompson gets a hand in there, she falls to the ground, getting her back up. Far corner. Pueblo moving it around. Salisbury all over it. Torres forcing her in the corner. Ortez up top, wanted to pull it, didn't. Makes a move. Got her lost, misses the shot. Fighting, trying to get it right to Salisbury. And she's trapped in the corner, she's got to find her. She finds Torres, the outlet, and they push it up the court. Whitler, driving, contact a lot.
No call, though.
No call. Gallegos got a hand on it. On the line, out of bounds, Frederick ball. I have noticed the refs are kind of letting them play here at the end of this quarter. Lots and lots of, running into each other. They're making a lot of, physical plays, but they're just kind of letting them play right now. Get to the end of this quarter. Frederick up by 16 right now. 18-2 run to start the first quarter, just dominating.
But rightfully so, right? Let the girls play, especially since Pueblo County, I don't think I've seen them pull up more than 3 times. Like, I think it's been less.
Foul called. Gallegos cutting, trying to get it to go. And she's heading to the line. Gallegos to the line now.
So second time Frederick's been at the line. First was Whitler, dropped one, didn't drop the other. Can Gallegos get a perfect 2?
As the gym fell silent.
I was a little scared to talk there for a minute. I was like, oof.
They're going to hear me.
I know.
Gallegos drops the first. Second one coming up. Bouncing around, no good. Thompson and Stone trying to get in there for that rebound. Just couldn't find it. Torres and Stone fighting down low, trying to get that. Up high. MacHendrie, covered by Torres. Running around. Contact. Shot drops that time. That's Spudnik, as we talked about earlier in pregame.
Yeah, Stupnik is one of those where you really have to keep an eye out for her, and especially with her rebound consistency. And if you have her right underneath, you really have to watch out for her.
Here's Salisbury, finds Thompson in the corner. Thompson trying to drive through the contact, doesn't go. Finding Torres up top, she's gonna pull a 3. Torres off the iron that time. She had a pretty hot game there against one of the last matches here that we were here to do. She played very, very well. Down low, pulling the 3 that time for Pueblo, no good. Lots of bodies down low. Who's gonna get it? It's gonna be Pueblo ball.
Torres, she tried to make a hustle towards it, saw her make a conscious effort to try and snag the ball before it went out, but she just decided, it's not worth it because we're already down there, so it's not necessarily like we're going to really have any problems if they've only put up Okay, scratch that. I was going to say 4, but now 6 points.
Turn away shot there drops. As here comes Gallegos bringing it up the floor, slowing the pace down a little bit. She wanted Torres to cut earlier. As Hanson fired up from the bench, trying to tell Stone she's got to cut. Torres, Salisbury out in the corner. Salisbury finds Torres, Stone. Back to Torres. Finds Gallegos, trying to slow it down. 14 seconds to go here in the first quarter. Frederick up by 13. Torres, 8 seconds. Salisbury tripped up, no call. Stone, 3 seconds. Torres jumping, moving, trying to get the shot off, no good. Stone shoots it, does not fall.
Shot didn't fall.
That's when we come back. Start of the second quarter here on the Golden Eagle Broadcast Network.
Rocky students exist to build up the next generation, to live a life of purpose, influence, and faith. You see, we believe that when you discover purpose, you start to discover you have a reason to live. And when you discover you have a reason to live, you start to notice you have influence. And when you lean into that influence, you make an impact. This world needs people like you, the next generation, to discover your purpose and to decide today the leader you want to be tomorrow.
Boys hit.
As we are back up here in the Golden Eagle Broadcast Network,
Are we on?
Send it down to the court with Allie Fullerton. Allie.
I'm gonna kill him for that. The Hornets are having a tough time keeping control of the ball, committing multiple fouls early on. While the Golden Eagles remain and have been staying strong and are setting the pace of the game early on, this is the perfect time to stay locked in, keep pushing the tempo, and take advantage of their mistakes. Keep the energy high and stay aggressive, and let's hope that the Golden Eagles can keep this momentum going. Back up to you, Carly.
As we're back up here in the booth, start of the second quarter here, Frederick with a 19-6 first quarter. Garner taps that one away, going out of bounds.
What a dominant performance early on. You mentioned 19-6. There has been no conscious effort whatsoever from Pueblo County to even get remotely close to how Frederick has been playing early on.
Gallegos with the steal, going right-handed this time. Good!
That was a walk in the park if I've ever seen one. She pretty much had to, I wouldn't say jog. It might have been like kind of a gander down.
Yeah, she was moving pretty slow to just, mildly get down there and get going.
As now Pueblo County's ball.
Give that back to Garner, trying to keep it in. Does an excellent job as Whitler took that one away from Gallegos as she tries to just hug it down. Miscommunicated. Backdoor feed. Pueblo County good to start the second quarter for them.
Points, though, they've been very meager early on, 21-8.
Salisbury's three off that time. Bouncing around. Rivera somehow coming away with it. Lost her footing. Whitler comes away with it. Lost her footing. Diving. Frederick's ball as she was on the line. It should be.
No call yet.
I'm unsure of the call, as I think it was a timeout by. I'm not sure.
So we're still unsure as to who has possession at the moment, but regardless, what a scuffle and what a great job and conscious effort from Zoe Whitler and pretty much essentially the entire team to get to the ball, realizing like
it's there.
There's like an entire crowd of bodies down on the floor right now, and
yeah,
you got to be on top of it.
Whitler, I don't know how Whitler ended up with that ball. I don't know if Rivera understood how she got the ball at first, and then she got it whacked away, rolled around. Whitler had it, then it got whacked away. Then Pueblo County's diving all over the place, and then this ball will be Pueblo County's, as it did look like she was out of bounds on the line, but I think they might have called a timeout just beforehand to get that to counteract.
That's a slide timeout. That's a sneaky one.
Yeah, it was nice. You didn't really expect it. On the line now, taken away by Whitler. Whitler with the left hand, taking contact. Shot does not go, trying to get the and one there.
Pressure took it directly from her. We saw another trap on the outside. They wouldn't let her go absolutely anywhere, as now this will send Zoe to the line. Sitting at 21-8, Frederick dominant.
Very, very dominant.
And even going back to my keys, I talked about how they capitalize on early points, right? And how they're significant with their early jump in front. And they average 26.5 points put up before half. They're sitting at 22, and they still have an entire quarter essentially to go. So they're going to crush this average, I have a feeling.
Trapping. Travel called. Frederick's ball. That trap that Frederick's been running right now has worked to almost perfection.
It works like a charm. I mean, I haven't seen a time where it really hasn't worked, quite frankly.
Gardner just running through Pueblo County right now.
I think Cortez got trucked. Still 6 minutes and 43 seconds. Zoe's going to bring it back in. Gardner, you talked about her physicality beforehand. She has been the woman on the court. She has been dominant, and she's played like one of the members of the Freddie Five.
Exactly, I agree. Inbound, coming up from Whitler. Just looking for an opening, just trying to find Gallegos. A lot of contact, ball moving around. Salisbury trying to get there before, just doesn't, just by his hair. Trapped down low. Travel called, give us that ball.
Ball will be back in Frederick's possession.
I will say, start of this second quarter, it's been kind of sloppy from both sides.
It's been a little slow getting started. I mean, we still have 6.5 minutes, and I mean, I think Frederick's put up maybe a few points, but Pueblo County, granted, they haven't put up anything.
Yeah, they've got one basket to drop. Gardner is trapped, doesn't even know where to go. She's just gonna take a dribble and just move it. Salisbury, pull-up jumper, no good. Rebounded by Gallegos. Gallegos tries her hand at it, does! Drop that time.
The mood on the bench right now for Pueblo County, there's a significant drop, I think, in how they're feeling, given that it's 24-8. And watching their reactions, they were looking for a call from the refs. But you said, as Ian said, they're really letting them play.
As a very late whistle there, as that ball was, I believed Gallegos got that ball to stay in, but apparently her foot was on the line. Very, very close call.
So besides that call, they've let them play.
And she moves, so back to Frederick, that ball goes. As once again, the sloppy, the sloppiness happening right now from both sides.
As now a substitution.
So
probably need some fresh bodies down on the court. I mean, 24-8, you haven't put up anything in the second quarter. You've been stifled entirely.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't really sub out much in that first quarter, so they're trying to get some fresher legs on the court and try to move it well. Rivera just walking through, and they call a travel on that one.
From up here, it was hard to tell. I don't know if I would necessarily call it a travel, as this will bump it to Pueblo County's ball whenever they desperately need points.
Yeah, sometimes you get that gather step, but depending on, who the ref is, they might not allow that gather step as much as you would like it to be. Glenn trying to keep it in as she just throws it onto the other out-of-bounds line. Gonna go right back to Frederick.
So once again, Frederick's possession, and this has been a commonality. We've seen Frederick kind of pressure them outside.
Yeah, they're using all 4 baselines as an extra defender. Me and Jackson talk about it a lot. You have 4 extra defenders on the court. You just got to use them and know how to use them. And Frederick's press and trap defense has done that excellent tonight. Rivera takes the right-hand drive, kicks it out the corner. Salisbury's 3 on the way. No good that time. Rivera tried to go over the head that time. Tylee Glenn tries to find it. Whitler somehow comes away with it. Whitler moving it around, finds Salisbury. Tried the jumper, couldn't find it. Gallegos. Whitler's 3 on the way. Off that time. Out of bounds, gonna go Pueblo's way.
One of the things that I have kind of noticed about Pueblo County and how they're running their defense is kind of what Zoe was talking about. Most teams you'll see run like a 1-2-2, but they're kind of running like a 3-2, and it's weird because what Zoe was talking about with me pregame is it almost looks like a 3-2, but they're still running a 1-2-2. So they kind of have this innate trickery that's happening down on the court, but it feels like they're just playing such sluggish man-to-man that you're nowhere near your person that you're trying to defend.
As Gallegos ripped it away, ran down the floor, got pretty much s'mored, got 2 defenders smashed into her, and then goes and gets the contact, gets the foul. As Pueblo County's coach is not happy at that at all. As she was trying to get the shot, she was trying to get him to blow right past her, but didn't. Salisbury's pull-up is good.
I mean, you can kiss her goodbye. That was pretty much like, that was playbook perfect, right?
That was executed. That's what you want to do right out of it. Salisbury gets the ball right back in her hands. Somehow, some way. Rivera trying to go down low to Gardner as Glenn hooks it, chucks it out of bounds. Frederick's ball.
Hey, her own fault there. Really can't blame them for losing possession. I mean, she did it to herself. It's now 26-8, 4.5 minutes left, and they're about to decimate their typical record.
Yeah, I mean, Frederick is dominating right now. Whitler in the corner, set up, play, 3 on the way, off that time. As Gallegos on the ground. As Salisbury with another steal, pulls up jumper, off that time. As Frederick is just flying from all sides of the court. Somehow, some way, she stayed in there. As Whitler got it, poked it away, gonna go Frederick's way anyways.
Yeah, regardless, it's gonna go Frederick's way, but, you know, during the play, there was a moment where I swear, like, essentially half her foot stepped out, and the entire, like, all the Frederick fans got up and were like, are you kidding me? Like, you're not gonna call this, but you're gonna call something else?
It was very, very close. I think she just stayed in. As Whitler breaks it up the floor, finds Gallegos. A few substitutions. Torres and Thompson back on the floor. Torres trapped in the corner, finding Whitler. Whitler hooking, high stepping, running through the team. Tries to find Gallegos. Gallegos finds it. Rivera's corner, 3, off. Thompson tried to get up there, get that board, did not. Does look like Thompson does have a little race on her hand as Torres finds Gallegos, finding Rivera. Floater off the back iron. And Rivera's fighting, jump ball. It's gonna be Frederick ball.
Another thing, kind of talking with Zoe, is they don't tend to go outside of the arc whenever you're looking for defensive coverage. I mean, they are leaving either Zoe or Gallegos wide open on the outside. And whenever that happens, you're leaving your 2 top players. Whenever you go long, that's someone that Frederick's going to look to. And to have them wide open, essentially it's free points. No wonder they're up by 22 points.
Exactly. And if they can drop that, perimeter arc 3, this score is just going to keep running and running and running up. Their shots just haven't fell in this quarter for Frederick, nor have they really fell for Pueblo County. So it's just been, kind of just tidy it back, get back to the fundamentals.
Excuse me, I meant to say 18 points.
26-8, Frederick lead. They're trying to set up a play. Zoe's got to get it in. She just chucks it up and finds Gallegos in the corner. Whitler, right-hand drive. Rivera cutting. She found her. Rivera finds Whitler. Right through the legs, found Torres somehow. Gallegos finds Rivera. Down low to Thompson. Finding Rivera cutting. Somehow Whitler found a way to get it. Whitler to Gallegos. Thompson, Torres. Pump fake the 3, wanted it, did it. Gallegos. Rivera.
Just feels like keep away at this point.
Whitler through contact. Blocking foul called. She's going to the line to shoot 2.
Finally, the drive kind of was put together. It was a little questionable, but
Came through. She's going to the line now. Shoot again. Need volunteer hours, want to help our community? Then you should join Key Club. It's an international organization dedicated to service. Join us after school on the 2nd and 4th Monday of each month in room E118. Whitler misses that first one. Stone comes in for Rivera.
Another interesting thing is, you look at the clock, 2.5 minutes, but Frederick, they've already been sent into the bonus. And they've had 0 fouls. They've cleaned up their act entirely in this second quarter.
As Whitler can't drop it, Stone right off the bench and gets a board. Finding Gallegos. Gallegos finds Torres. Scanning, surveying, goes to the left, drops. Gallegos, Stone, Whitler in the corner. She's going to pull it. Whitler can't get it.
Even though Whitler's been off the mark, she has the potential, and she's taking the shots regardless.
Frederick's going to get that ball. As that was a very, very close call. Torres came from behind, pit pocketed. Timeout. Frederick coming up.
The fact that she's been able to bounce around the outside so much, and Pueblo County, they do have like this, almost this spunky fire, right, whenever they're defending, but it just feels like the flame flickers whenever they see a pass be made. And it's unfortunate because it's a playoff game, right? You want to play at your best, your top peak performance, because otherwise you go home. And there's no, like, retribution moment or time to, like, come back. Like, this is the game, and you're not playing it right now. It's 26-8. The fact that you've let them get this far ahead of you, especially in the bonus, and you still have approximately 2.5 minutes left before this half, you are essentially messing it up for yourself.
You were talking, yeah, you said, you know, this is the moment. This is some of these seniors' last ride here in possibly their competitive basketball careers. And, like, you can't have that, you know, go away like this. You want to come and play your best, like you said, and they just haven't lived up to that potential yet. Still a whole second half to play still, though. Torres. Fighting Gallegos. Back to Torres. Torres. Left hand. Back to Gallegos. Gallegos finds Stone. Stone finds Whitler in the corner. Whitler trapped. Gonna drive through it, though. Finding Torres out. Jumper on the way. Drops it that time.
Pueblo County, they had 5-on-1. They had 5 players defending right underneath the basket for Zoe Whitler. They're starting to realize, like, hey, Zoe is a threat. Zoe's someone that we want to double press, double coverage. But whenever you have 5-on-1 and your entire lineup is essentially guarding one person, you leave multiple players for Frederick wide open, as you saw right there. Torres
stepped into the moment. Stepped into that jumper and drilled it. And then Pueblo County tries a Hail Mary play and overshot it by a mile. Gallegos, left hand, dropping it.
Now 38.
Pueblo County bringing up the floor. Miscommunicating the dribble. As they're just moving it around the arc right now. Pueblo County just trying to set anything up. Nearing the final minute as Thompson comes away with it. Stone wants it on the drive. Hits it with the left. Contact. Foul. Going to the line.
Stone, I'm impressed with her poise there, because it's one of those where talking with Zoe pregame and the angst that comes with whenever things are kind of, people rely on you heavily, right? And there's this moment where it all comes down to the wire and it comes down to you. Granted, there's not really a wire moment right now, right? It's more like you got a few yards before the wire.
Exactly.
But, like, you're sitting 31-8, and here's the potential to kind of put this half away for the time being, and to kind of prepare for the second half.
Close the second half out strong. You don't want to go away, letting Pueblo go on a little run. Just close them out. Shut the door. As they are up by... Math is hard. I think they're up 28, 23, 23, 23, 23.
You were close the first time. You said 30, and I was like, it's getting there.
I was like, I wanted 13, but that was not the number I was looking for. 8.7 to go.
Right now, the door is still open. There's still scoring opportunities for both teams.
I mean, we saw Whitler hit that buzzer-beating halftime shot against Legacy. Whitler's three is good. She sticks it.
Speak of the devil. 23 seconds remaining, and bang, bang. 34-8. What a capitalization by Zoe Whitler.
Nice little pass around Thompson's leg. As a foul called that time. Gonna be on Torres. That's Pueblo's benches amped up after that foul. As that's Frederick's first foul in the second quarter. Very disciplined second quarter from Frederick. Down low, shot, dropping that time. 4 seconds to go. Whitler brings it up the floor. 2, 1 on the clock. Whitler just gets it off a little to the left that time.
We talk about the previous shot by Zoe. Imagine if she banged it from past half court.
This place would erupt. It's like the Luke Justice 3 a couple years ago.
I do remember that. I do remember that. 34-10 as Frederick and Pueblo exit the half. My goodness, what a dominant performance from Frederick.
You took the words right out of my mouth. Dominant first half from Frederick.
And there's really no other way to put it. I mean, there's no other words that can perfectly describe how they've been playing and just how, dominant they've been. Really, there's no other word choice for it.
As now, we'll send it down to the court with Allie Fullerton with Coach. Allie.
All right, Coach. So amazing first half. Your team came out with great energy. What do you think contributed to that in the first half?
We knew what we had to do. We talked about it all week at practice. We wanted to put them, put a lot of pressure on the ball when they had it, and it turned into some easy points for us.
Speaking of that, the Hornets have really struggled with possession in the first half. How do you plan to keep the momentum for your girls to make sure they keep struggling?
We're going to keep pressuring the ball. They got some really good posts. They got some size. We want to try and keep it out of there if we can.
All right. Thank you, Coach. Back up to you, Carly.
As we are back up here, as we take a look at Zoe Whitler's first half 3-point stats. 3 for 4 from beyond the arc. She just dominated. She found her rhythm, and she just got going. It's 60% there. She just looked great. Zoe Whitler domination. As when we come back, we will head to the Zadel Realty halftime. Zadel will bring us in, heading to halftime.
Do you want a reliable realtor who you can trust with your money and owning or renting a home? Then you can turn to Zadel Realty and specifically Greg Zadel. Greg is a local realtor who helps people buy and sell both homes and investment properties. He has an extended knowledge of the market and is extremely involved in the community. Along with being a local realtor right here in Frederick, Greg Zadel is extremely experienced in his profession. Not only is he a broker, but also the owner of Zadel Realty, located in the Carbon Valley area since 1980, just over 42 years as of now. Make sure to watch for the Zadel Real Estate article in the Consumer Report. You don't want to miss it. You won't regret it when you rely on Zadel Realty.
Like most backseat drivers, I'm all about safety. Uh-oh! Les Schwab tires is too. Because Les Schwab fixes brakes, steering, and more. See those guys? They just do tires. Eyes ahead, Dad! Look, I'm not telling people how to do their job. Blinker, I'm just glad Les Schwab puts my safety first. Watch, they're gonna come greet me.
Les Schwab Tires, celebrating 70 years of doing the right thing.
Hey, I'm Jake. Do you want a reliable realtor who you can trust with your money and owning or renting a home? Then you can turn to Zadel Realty and specifically Greg Zadel. Greg is a local realtor who helps people buy and sell both homes and investment properties. He has an extended knowledge of the market and is extremely involved in the community. Along with being a local realtor right here in Frederick, Greg Zadel is extremely experienced in his profession. Not only is he a broker, but also the owner of Zadel Realty, located in the Carbon Valley area since 1980, just over 42 years as of now. Make sure to watch for the Zadel Real Estate article in the Consumer Report. You don't want to miss it. You won't regret it when you rely on Zadel Realty.
Rocky students exist to build up the next generation, to live a life of purpose, influence, and faith. You see, we believe that when you discover purpose, you start to discover you have a reason to live. And when you discover you have a reason to live, you start to notice you have influence. And when you lean into that influence, you make an impact. This world needs people like you, the next generation, to discover your purpose and to decide today the leader you want to be tomorrow.
In Frederick, we believe in rolling up our sleeves, not just for ourselves, but for each other. We believe in playing outside until the stars flicker on and protecting the hallowed ground of childhood. We believe in a lifelong commitment to actions as good as our intentions. We believe in the power of our voices and the obligation of our hearts to form a strong foundation. We believe we are onto something that's worth all we can give it. Here, the life we dream of is ours to create.
I think the future is bright for Frederick. I think we understand our identity and who we are, and we don't want to lose that.
The town is really built on the community of people and how everyone almost treats people like family.
I see an opportunity to have a seat at the table and to show our worth and our value and our undeniable characteristics of being a lovely community that's welcome to all.
Hi, I'm Coach Matt Lloyd. I'm the head football coach at Frederick High School. You're watching the Golden Eagle Broadcasting Network.
Who you can trust with your money and owning or renting a home, then you can turn to Zadel Realty and specifically Greg Zadel. Greg is a local realtor who helps people buy and sell both homes and investment properties. He has an extended knowledge of the market and is extremely involved in the community. Along with being a local realtor right here in Frederick, Greg Zadel is extremely experienced in his profession. Not only is he a broker, but also the owner of Zadel Realty, located in the Carbon Valley area since 1980, just over 42 years as of now. Make sure to watch for the Zadel Real Estate article in the Consumer Report. You don't want to miss it. You won't regret it when you rely on Zadel Realty.
This presentation of halftime here for the Frederick High School basketball is brought to you by Greg Zadel at Zadel Realty. For the Zadel Realty halftime show, if you're looking to buy or sell a home, Greg Zadel at Zadel Realty is your community-centered go-to person. Greg is a local realtor and broker who's been selling homes in the Carbon Valley area since 1980. He's an active supporter of our community, FHS, and a proud partner of the Golden Eagle Broadcast Network. If you need a realtor with a deep knowledge of the market, Greg Zadel is a great choice. Watch his monthly real estate article in the Consumer Report or email him, greg@zadelrealty.com. Greg Zadel and Zadel Realty is your community-centered realtor. As we are back here in Frederick, start of the second half.
For foot basketball.
For foot basketball, yep. What a first half for Frederick, Carly. 24-point lead heading into the halftime, as they have just looked like the best version of this team. Of course, there's some things they need to tighten up, slighten it just a little bit better, and besides that, this team looks great.
And I mean, early on, we saw the miscommunication was almost kind of common, right? We saw a lot of dropped balls or miscommunicated passes or something of the sort, but they've really cleaned it up. In that second quarter, they ended the period with only one foul the entire quarter, whereas we saw Pueblo County, they sent Frederick into the bonus. And so it's one of those where Pueblo, they have to really focus on cleaning up their act in particular, whereas Frederick, your main worry is, yeah, you have a few nicks, but you don't necessarily have a big gash or anything like Pueblo County right now.
Yeah, you talked about them, getting in the bonus. That wasn't like a later in the quarter. That was still pretty early into the game, into that second quarter. That was I think halfway through.
They still had a few minutes, more than a few.
Yeah, exactly. It was a lot of time for Pueblo to just keep getting more and more fouls. Glenn trying to drive, finds Cooper. Cooper. Start of the second half here, brought to you by the Golden Eagle Broadcast Network. As Gardner gets the steal, finds Salisbury. Salisbury found Rivera. Rivera found Gallegos with a left-hand lay.
They're already starting off right where they ended the first half.
Yeah, what a start in the second half. Again, Gallegos, who was just dominated from the start. Contact.
And I mean, honestly, I would describe Gallegos' performance as it was almost like a silky smooth finish in traffic. And it was impressive, especially to dart and weave through that many defenders.
Yeah, I was going to say, it wasn't a very easy, shot. It was, you had to get through the contact, then you laid it in. And Gallegos does that really well in transition, fast-paced moving. She is really, really good at flying down the floor, making plays happen. And, Whitler, we were talking, and she was telling me how Gallegos doesn't like to bring the ball up the floor, but she did once, and then she realized, oh, I'm faster than half of all these people on the court. I can get down the floor very, very quick. And so he's realized, yeah, that's why we have you run that play. Gallegos doesn't want to run the play, but she's starting to settle into that, bring it up the floor, use that speed, and just get going. As Whitler with the takeaway, finding Gallegos again. Cut, drops the shot that time.
Gallegos much easier that time. Pretty much no traffic whatsoever for her.
Dropping that 30-point bomb on Pueblo County here.
30 points. That is not a small deficit whatsoever.
A lot of time still to go, but Frederick starting to close the door. It's not fully closed.
It's cracked right now.
Cracked.
It's cracked. And just to put it into perspective, too, whenever you're looking at a 30-point deficit, that is essentially 10 threes that you have to drop. That is insane.
I mean, we saw J.J. Strojan do it. It's possible. You just got to make sure that you actually do it. High-stepping Euro travel called on Salisbury. As she just tried to get through the contact there. Trapped up high. Working it down low. Stupnik. Taken away by Salisbury. Salisbury finding Gallegos on the run. Taking it herself. Another one for Gallegos.
Riley Gallegos. My goodness. She has just been on par all of tonight. Back-to-back points for her. 42-10. A 32-point deficit. Scratch that. Still a 30, but regardless.
As Glenn drops the shot there, net gets caught. me and Mason were talking pregame. That net looks pretty new.
It does.
It does look a lot more stiff. So
it's gotten stuck a few times, too, yeah.
That would explain, it being stuck there. Gallegos finds Rivera in the corner. Rivera dumps it to Gardner. Cutting Rivera. Beautifully executed play in the corner. Salisbury's three on the way. No good that time. Dropped. As she tried to throw that off Whitler, and they say it was off Whitler. That did not look anywhere to hit Whitler's leg.
I don't necessarily agree with that call. Granted, I can't change anything down on the court, but I didn't see any contact.
As Gardner's just going to whack that one away. She's going to take it into her own hands. And we'll take care of that one. Down low, trying to get it underneath. Stubnick there, drops another one.
It's not necessarily enough momentum to call it momentum or like forward progress, but it is like a minute forward progress.
They're dropping shots now.
Exactly.
That's exactly what you need. Rivera on the wing, wanted to pull it, doesn't. Pulls up the jumper instead and sticks it.
My goodness, Emma Rivera making this 44-14.
She has stepped into a big role into the Freddie 5.
Yeah, you talked about how whenever Howard had her season-ending injury, Rivera had these big shoes to fill because Howard was putting up these insane statistics. I mean, you look at the games that Izzy Howard was playing in, and she was playing fierce. She was playing excellent, and then to have it just kind of swept out from underneath you, right, the rug.
Yep.
And to be put into this position where, oh my gosh, I'm going to fill these shoes, but I'm going to maybe double the size?
Yeah, exactly, and she has fit in this role well. You talked about how Howard has performed very well, and Howard led the team in field goal percentage. She was one of the best three-point shooters on this team. She had done very, very well in a starting 5 role, but then Rivera jumping into the Freddie 5, becoming a dominant player. As Riley Gallegos, who we've seen started off the second half with a dominating second half. She had 14 first half points. Love to see it from Gallegos, trying to keep it rolling. I think she has 6 or 8. She has 6 in this half. So she's
that's
about
just going to
20.
boost
She's about
it even
20-ish
more.
points now. Just let her cook, keep her rolling. As here we go, inbound's going to come up here.
She has been quite the steamrolling factor. I mean, if you think about it, she put up 20 points. That's essentially half the total points you've put up, period.
And plus Whitler's points there, too. This team has just worked very well this half. Heading out of the first half in the second quarter, they have clicked. It's a orchestrated symphony.
There you
right
go.
now.
There you go.
It is played to perfection.
Exactly.
As Gallegos is in the corner, let her shoot, and they do, and she is gonna stick it.
I have to say it, that's a bang, bang, bang. Triple threat.
The first triple bang.
47-14.
The first triple bang.
It's well deserved though, as if she put up 20, then adds another
Whitler on the run, left hand lay.
49-14, boosting it even further. I thought Pueblo County might make something out of their little run, but it has disintegrated within seconds, like fall to pieces kind of a thing. Although they're being sent to the line, honestly, your chances of catching up to Frederick, if they continue this momentous just stretch of the lead that they already have going, you're looking at maybe not a close game.
Exactly, as Pueblo County to the line for one of the first times tonight. Just a reminder that our broadcast is brought to you in part by United Power. Yeah, United Power, we are proud partners of the Golden Eagle Broadcast Network, proud to power local sports and local schools. United Power, your local Touchstone cooperative. As the crowd is here in Frederick.
I kind of wish for the sake of, it's not to sound mean or anything, but like for the sake of Pueblo County, I wish more people had shown up. And if more people had shown up, like I kind of wish that the people who are wearing CSU gear might actually, be rooting for Pueblo County. There's more green then, maybe.
As Gallegos runs into a brick wall, hits the ground, going to the line to shoot 2.
Hey, but the reasoning is there. I'm just saying.
I see your reasoning somewhat.
Because, it's just been dead silent, even if they score.
It is silent on their side. I have seen a lot of, the bench getting up, not enjoying some of the calls that the refs have been making. But, you just got to play. You just got to play the game. Refs are going to make the calls that they make the calls. You just got to play the game how you want to play the game.
Exactly.
Gallegos missed the first, missed the second.
Taking a look, too, real quick, at these seniors who, for Pueblo County, this is potentially your last game. I mean, you have number 1, Cooper. You also have number 12, Mueller. You also have number 15, Romero. All 3 of them, this is the potential to, like...
They've been kind of silenced tonight.
Yes.
I have not really seen them on the court. Thompson spinning away somehow. Gets open. Whitler on the wing for the 3. No good that time. That's Whitler's 3 shot. That's her shot right there. It just hasn't dropped for her really tonight.
Yeah, she likes to kind of sit outside the arc. Typically it falls, but...
She sits at that wing, too, especially. That is her shot. Guy goes down low. Knocks it away. Here goes Torres on a run. May Torres missed the layup. Thompson there to clean it up. And 1!
Thompson, though, still down on the ground. I think she just smacked herself real hard. I mean, it's shake it off, right? What an impressive feat, though, to recognize, hey, Torres isn't going to make it, so I'm going to snatch it and then clean it up.
Clean up crew. She's that extra, the trash crew coming back behind, leaving up the scraps that missed there. You just drop it. Try to drop the and one opportunity. Does not fall. As Whitler wraps it away. No good on the extra chance. As all over, Salisbury's there. Jumper for Salisbury. No good.
They're kind of going on this little run where it might work out in Pueblo County's favor, and you might be able to snag a few points out of this because Frederick, they've kind of been struggling a little bit with these points in landing things, especially outside, and even, I guess, both outside and inside the arc.
Yeah, deeper 2s they've struggled. Salisbury cutting down low, drops it that time.
But they have been over the par, I'd say, whenever it comes to directly underneath. And although we saw Torres kind of struggle with her layup, the consistency that we've seen with dropping these layups has been pretty much pristine.
All over the place is Pueblo County right now. Miss, make. That time.
53-18. I mean, the fact that Pueblo County hasn't even broke 20 yet
is amazing. Thompson backdoor. Good on the 2.
I would say if they break 20, barely, that's indicative of how the night's been going, is the fact that you haven't been able to break 20. You're still stuck at 18.
You're down by 37 in the 3rd quarter. Like, it's playoff basketball, too. This is not what you want to see.
You talked about the Cinderella story, right? That whole thing of, like, that underdog moment where you really want to shine. I have not seen a lot of shine from Pueblo County. They really have to step it up and recognize you have about a quarter and a few minutes. And whenever you're stuck with a quarter and a few minutes, you really have to kind of factor in that time piece and how you're going to play. And whenever you combine the two, it can hopefully kind of help them momentum-wise, but I just haven't seen anything.
Yeah, they have struggled. As Thompson dropped the backdoor feed. Me and Jackson saw that a lot from Thompson this season, coming off the bench especially. She was, that backdoor option. She was off the glass 90% of the time, making all those shots too. She was a big, crucial piece coming off the bench as well, as we saw that depth chart earlier of, Stone, Torres, Thompson, all coming off the bench. They've been shining here tonight.
Well, and Thompson's tall too. Micah Thompson, she's tall, right? And I mean, she's an R grade, so that makes her a junior. So she's still got another developmental year to go, which...
Yeah, I mean, she's got a lot of room to improvement. She's stepping into big shoes next year as Gardner's going to be gone. And Gardner, she's been the center here for, I believe, all 4 of her years. But she's just been very, very, very good. As Stone goes down. Lot of confusion. What is going on the court there? As Hansen is furious. As he wanted another sub. Didn't get it. Torres went down.
Well, and Stone is currently...
She's shaking up. I think she took a shot to the side of the head there. As she's going to be down.
I couldn't tell if it was the ball or a player, though.
I think it might have been an elbow. I think she caught an elbow.
That's what I figured, because I was about to say, like, there wasn't much motion, but it looked like whenever they shifted, someone might have bumped right in the face, which it's nasty whenever you get a hit to the face, right? It's never fun.
You got to be careful of, concussions and head injuries.
Yeah, I was about to say, and you have a lot of obviously sensitive areas on your face, right? Like your eyes, your nose, your mouth, and
the side, the little temples right there,
I was about to say,
too.
the side of your temples, those things, whenever you smack it just right, those can cause some brain issues, and so just things to be cognizant of. Frederick, though, still with a demanding lead of 57-21 with a minute and a half left in this third quarter.
As, we'll take a look at that Frederick's depth chart once again, see who's going to be coming in to fill that role. I think I saw Hansen getting ready to jump in. It might be Strojan. Strojan and Hansen, they kind of flip-flop. Every other game, they come in and make a play. As Stone rises, here's the roar from the crowd. She's able to hustle off the court.
I'm glad that she was able to kind of get up and that it wasn't
too serious.
Too serious? Yeah, exactly.
It's good to see her, walking
on her own.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. As it will be, I think it is Strojan who has checked in.
Yep, Addie Strojan now checked in, number 4.
And Hansen has checked in as well. As she jumps in, ball goes right through her hands. Trying to get an early takeaway. As there's Torres who gets an early tip on the ball. Got to get the too much contact call.
Fans are not happy with that. Saw the entire crowd kind of roar up in disbelief that it was called. They've let so much of this game just kind of play out that to call that, it seems a little unrealistic.
A little excessive. As that shot dropped. As inbound there from Gallegos, so she is flying down the floor. Finds Strojan. Strojan finds Hansen. Hansen, little hop step. Finds Gallegos up high. Cutting is Torres. Sees him go fly right over him. Hansen's going to pull that 3 off that time.
Short, just barely, too. If she would have just planted the feet a little bit more firm or stepped up a little bit more, that shot probably would have fallen. And what a shot that would have been to officially mark a 60-point game in a playoff game with your backups in, too, right?
Yeah, Pueblo's going on a little run right here. They're starting to get shots to drop, but might be a little late as Gallegos getting a little loosey-goosey as Pueblo now blocked that time.
I didn't even see a block. I just saw her kind of stumble.
Lose the ball, yeah.
Yeah.
Salisbury was kind of like, oh, I blocked it. Okay.
Less than 30 seconds remaining in this third quarter. 57-26. They
blocked by Salisbury. Sorry.
No, you're good. They finally surpassed 20 as that was.
As the ball is just on the ground. Bodies are flying. Hands are on the ball. 3 on the way from Pueblo. Drops it.
Pueblo, as you said, they're going on a little bit of a run, and end of the third quarter, you don't want to open anything up.
As Torres not going to take a final shot.
Don't even think she really heard the buzzer. It was difficult to hear.
As when we come back, start of the fourth quarter here, Frederick up by, I want to say 38. As we'll be back here on the Golden Eagle Broadcast Network.
Rocky students exist to build up the next generation, to live a life of purpose, influence, and faith. You see, we believe that when you discover purpose, you start to discover you have a reason to live. And when you discover you have a reason to live, you start to notice you have influence. And when you lean into that influence, you make an impact. This world needs people like you, the next generation, to discover your purpose and to decide today the leader you want to be tomorrow.
Welcome back into the Golden Eagle Broadcast Network. As you can see, the Golden Eagles have come into the second half fired up, keeping their intensity high and controlling the game. Meanwhile, the Hornets are struggling to maintain possession, losing the ball more than they're keeping it. This is prime opportunity for the Golden Eagles to stay aggressive, capitalize on mistakes, and keep building their lead. Let's keep the pressure on and finish strong. Back up to you, Carly.
Thank you, Allie. As now we're back up here in the booth. Thank you, Allie. Start of the fourth quarter. Frederick up by 28. And the starters are back in. Rivera using that right arm. to keep away. Gardner lost it, diving Cooper. And she gets traveled.
Cooper kind of mouthing with the ref.
That was a hustle play, though. She did dive on the ball, but she kind of rolled around after. You can't really do that.
Cooper, though, this has got to be frustrating. I mean, she was one of the seniors that I mentioned, and to have this be your possible last game as now we've entered the final stretch. With less than
I mean, sorry, not mean to cut you off there, but I mean, Pueblo having that, nice little fourth quarter, at the end of third quarter run. Gallego shot in and out. Gardner blocked. Gonna be Frederick ball there.
It feels like an eternity ago that I was talking about them dropping a 3 from beyond the arc to make it a 60-point game. And the fact that we haven't seen any forward progress in a while, but we've seen Pueblo County been able to drop in some of these sneaky little layups, and we've seen them even slice through the air with a few of these threes that have dropped. And Frederick, they've struggled. They've struggled with their threes and deep twos.
Yeah, they've been airborne this last quarter. They're coming back here as Salisbury gets a hand on it. Hanson says, I'm going to put the starters back in, let them do their thing, and hopefully extend that lead back up to a 30-point lead.
I bet he could tell kind of the switch, right?
Yep.
There was a significant switch.
That's wide open in the paint. Salisbury got a hand on it, I believe. Gallegos was there just in case. Frederick ball. As that ball just rolled out of bounds. As Gallegos will inbound. Frederick's got a 4-man front. They're going to give each other some screens. Gallegos is probably going to get this ball and start flying up the floor. Or they're going to find someone open. This is kind of like a Hail Mary situation in a football game as Rivera took some body there, lost the ball, slid to the ground as a nice little grab there out of the air for Pueblo, moving it around the perimeter.
Sputnik using that height to her advantage. She's tall. She's sitting at 5'11", and so.
As a little too much on it. Gardner was there. Shot that time. Will not go. As Salisbury just hands it off to Gallegos, trying to slow it down. Whitler.
59-29 now.
This is where Whitler kind of enters her little takeover moment. Whitler gets taken down as Pueblo County's coach running over saying that should have been a travel, and I see the bench doing the exact same motion. It pretty much.
All 5 of their fans are calling for a travel. My goodness.
The entire bench was in motion, just all going through it. And Whitler's just going to get through.
I saw the entire bench go up, too. I mean, it was just like everyone was trying to call for it.
In line. As Whitler drops that first one, trying to drop another one, as Frederick has come into the playoffs ready to roll. Some teams coming out of that first round bye, they get surprised and, they lose their game. But Frederick has come in.
They've been poised.
Sustained the motivation. They've been focused up, locked in, ready to go. And they were just amped to get here and get going.
Finally breaking 60 for Frederick. So 61-29. That lead just extending even further. As now Frederick will once again retain possession. Little under 6.5 minutes remaining in this entire game.
Gardner fighting through the contact. Like you said, Frederick back up to a 32-point lead. Whitler driving. No good. Gardner comes flying out of nowhere. Knocks her down to her feet. Travel's going to be called.
So not quite the travel that Pueblo wanted.
Yeah, exactly.
Wrong travel.
Gardner like a wrecking ball, just flying in there.
She came in like a wrecking ball. Impressive feat.
And Gallegos wanted it, didn't get it. Too much, too less on the pass, might I say. But good hustle from Gallegos to swipe that one away, pocketed it away. And that one rolls out of bounds. Pueblo will inbound.
They've taken most of their seniors out of the game, too. If you're Pueblo County, you probably want to let these girls play as much as possible.
I mean, yeah, it's they're nearing their final, moments in possibly final moments in competitive basketball.
Exactly, to play, period, perhaps.
I'm not sure. Some of them might be going on for other offers later on down the line. But
if I were the coach, I'd let them play, though.
Gallegos lost her in the sauce. 2 deep, 2 on the way from Rivera, no good. Gallegos said goodbye. As Salisbury got a hand on it. Whitler from behind taps that one away, and Salisbury, who was pretty much in the air, holding on to that one. It
was almost like a ragdoll simulator. I mean, she got chunked in the air. As Pueblo County, they will keep possession. 5 minutes and 30 seconds. So this clock just continuing to wind down, and talking even third quarter, end of the third quarter, start of the fourth. I was talking about how you have to be clock cognizant. And the less clock cognizant you are, the less of a chance you have to actually come back. So take, for example, right, you're still sitting at a 20-plus deficit. If you're Pueblo County, you're not really doing much. You're not making much forward progress. Every time you score, Frederick, they just battle back with their own retaliation.
Missed three by Salisbury. She's going to try to get another chance at it. But no good. Timeout called by Frederick. As Salisbury down there, we saw that, little jump ball situation. She got a little talking to after. She has to be careful. She's been known to get a few techs later in games, especially in these kind of situations. And she was pretty dang close there. I would say she probably should have got a tech there. She got up and was in the face. But, she's been, kind of more laid back now. And the ref came over to her and just told her, hey, we just got to calm down a little bit. She had a reason to bark back.
Yes, exactly.
This is playoff basketball. You don't want to take a tech. You just want to take a breather.
Exactly. You want to play. You don't want to be fouled out.
Exactly. You don't want to be on the bench.
One thing that me and Zoe always kind of talk about whenever we're discussing the boys' game is talking about some of the players that, and in your case, talking about Salisbury, sometimes they get a little mouthy whenever they know they're not supposed to, and therefore, you'll get a technical, and it'll end up biting you in the butt, basically.
Yep.
And that isn't what they need down here late whenever you have a little over 5 minutes left in the game. Granted, kind of looking at the pacing of this game, Frederick, if they can keep this lead, you're going to kind of walk away out of this one with not even with like a sigh of like relief. Like you're just kind of, I don't know, you're walking out with some swagger, right? You won.
Yep.
By how much?
By a lot. A lot. As Pueblo County starting to get those shots to drop. But like you talked about, the swagger, basically, the mentality of, they're confident. They just took a team and just
decimated them, essentially.
Pretty much, yeah. Whitler, jumper, no good. As we saw momentarily just now, Gallegos, 21 points on the night. She had a 7-point third quarter, which she basically averaged that in the first half, 7-point quarters. She came out of the first quarter with 14. She's got 21 right now. And she's been one of the, speed threats, shooting threats. She's just been everywhere.
That's going to boost the 13.2 average from the last 5 games.
Yeah,
if you make it 6, that's
She's dominating. She's been on a roll the last few games, and we'd love to see that keep going and just keep rolling. As Whitler was on the line. As Pueblo County,
their coach got all fired up about that. You're still looking at a 61-35 game. Another thing that me and Zoe always discuss during our games is talking about, like, yes, if you're the coach, if you're the players, even if you're on the bench, you have to keep up that mentality that the game isn't over until it's over.
Yeah,
and
I
so
agree.
For Pueblo County's case, granted, you're not in a great situation, but if you're Pueblo County, you also can't discount the fact that you still do have 4 minutes, and you can kind of make what you want out of that. Do you want it to be aggressive? Do you want it to kind of be laid back? How are you going to control the game? And if you can't control the game's already over.
You saw that Salisbury hustle play. That was a wide open layup that she missed because Salisbury was all over it. Salisbury's layup goes off the rim, no good. As Pueblo County, like you said, even though, you're down by 26 now, you're not out of the game. The team's energy, the bench energy, the team's still connected. They are still dominating.
I feel like that's the word of the game, dominant. That has been a precursor, essentially. That was before even the game started, before the game is going to end. Dominant is the word of the game.
Exactly. Frederick has subbed out all their starters.
They know. That essentially is kind of Frederick's last step in closing the crack in the door, is we're going to pop out all of our starters and we're going to replace them with people that, yes, we have full trust in them kind of a thing, but we're also not going to risk hurting our starters, right?
Yeah, I agree. As we'll be right back here on the Golden Eagle Broadcast Network. As we are back here on the Golden Eagle Broadcast Network, we were just chatting there, Carly. We did look at, the wide field game. Pueblo is a fourth quarter team. They scored 21 in that quarter against Whitefield in that fourth quarter. So, don't count them just out yet.
Yes.
You are down by 26, though. So, you got a margin to climb. You got a mountain to climb, essentially.
Yes, exactly.
And I know this Frederick team, just because their bench is in, they're not going to stop fighting. This team is a dominant team. These bench players are dominant. They want to come in and make plays.
The only problem, though, I would say for Pueblo County right now is if only you had kind of recognized that you're a fourth quarter team earlier on in the fourth quarter, because you're looking at under 4 minutes to kind of reel back this game. So, yes, we're not going to discount them. We're not going to discredit the effort that they put in the Whitefield game simply because, they did put up 21. But if you're Pueblo County, and I'm not going to jinx anything, but you have under 4 minutes to pretty much hustle. Excuse me, I jinxed it. But you just have to keep hustling. And if you're Pueblo County, you have to play at such an insane pace right now that you cannot waste a second. And right now, even as we speak, they're wasting seconds. If Frederick plays this keep away offense, that's, you strewn everybody about, maybe you make a few layups, maybe you make a few from beyond the arc, but your goal isn't to score, your goal is to keep it away from them.
Yeah, exactly. You want to wind this clock down. As Stone, nicely to see back in the game.
Good to see her
back.
Good
to see her back, yeah. We needed that. As right now, as Pueblo County tried to drive there, that game against Whitefield was the play-in game to get to this game. Torres on a run, hits, and one!
For a second, I thought she was going to get denied. You saw the Pueblo County player go up, pretty much meet her at the rim, but her shot still fell as she will be sent to the line after taking a nasty smack on the chin.
There is a discussion there. Was it a flagrant? Was that intentional?
Oh.
They're going to give it to her.
It felt a little intentional, right? Even from up here, it's not that hard to see, yeah.
And that is her fourth foul, so she has got to, that is Glenn's fourth foul. She is one foul away from fouling out. As Torres, she gets that call and now misses that extra point chance.
But still, it also kind of puts this, it kind of like invokes this certain feeling into the Pueblo County players of, now we're under 3 minutes. Now we have 2 minutes and 52 seconds to possibly make something happen, but nothing's happened. As Pueblo County's coach,
there's a lot of talk there.
Yeah, maybe getting a little.
We have seen this familiar with Hansen. Hansen was teched after that.
Yes, I do remember that. I was there for that game.
Was
yes.
Mead, yep. Hansen gets teched at Mead, so you got to be careful. You don't want to get teched.
I know. I felt bad for him because there's a point where you stand up to your players, but you also got to back off because the refs are gonna call it if you get a little too up in the face.
Stone pulls the three, off that time. She's just trying to, she's trying to get her get back.
I think her get back though right now is the fact that she's back in the game.
Yeah, exactly. As Strojan keeps the dribble, Torres on a run, right hand lay.
So kind of a retaliation of Torres, too, from that missed extra point that she, it's probably not a great feeling whenever there's literally nobody over on that side of the court and then you still miss it.
Yeah, she's getting her get back.
But that was the get back of get backs. It's now
Thompson.
67-38.
Blocked. Torres out in the corner. Thought about it, didn't take it. That time just in and out. Thompson's blocked again. Torres got a hand on it. Pueblo County. Down low, Stupnick. And triple team. Half of pretty much the entire Frederick team's there. 3 on the way. Off that time. And a foul on Torres.
Net 2, we talked about how it kept getting stuck.
It is stuck once again.
It's stuck once again. I do find a difference. The net over on the right side from where we're standing and the net over on the left side. I mean, you look at the height between the two. The new net, I believe it's new. At least we think it's new. It's definitely as we talked about, it's stiff. It's a little bit harder to play with.
You got to break it in a little bit.
Exactly.
Yep, especially.
But whenever Frederick has been scoring from that side, let's just say it's been broken in.
It's been getting better and better throughout the play. Yep.
It's like a team of thieves. They keep breaking in.
67-38 point lead. 29 points for Frederick. It's not the highest lead they've had all night.
No, but I think this is
They're
the most
building it back up,
important
yep.
that they've had.
Exactly. This is the most important lead. 30 seconds left on this timeout. I believe there's about 2.5 to go.
Maybe a little under.
Maybe a little under that left in this game, as this has been one of the most impressive team efforts from Frederick, as they've just come alive. Basically, right out of that first quarter, they just came into the second quarter.
I'm telling you, it was that fiery passion that we saw early on. And, I mean, the kindling underneath it just grew as the game went on. I never saw a moment where, you know, there were plumes of smoke and the fire was, like, kind of at risk of burning out. There was always the, all right, toss another piece of wood on the fire and see what happens. And the flames just grown.
It just keeps getting bigger and bigger. Someone's going to have to, you know.
Just like this lead. I mean, it's just gotten bigger and bigger as the game's gone on. And Pueblo County, they have been left speechless.
Yeah, they're trying to put the fire out, but the fire department's a little late. As there's Thompson on a run. She double dribbled that time. And she just kind of threw the ball to the ground and went to shoot it. And she didn't really know what she did, and there's a little
Hey, but the best part about that is the fact that she's able to laugh it off.
She can laugh it off. Yeah, it's not like it's a big game.
It's not detrimental.
As the crowd is chanting, I believe that we have won.
A minute and a half left.
As that was too amped up. My keys fell out of my pocket.
Ian, you got to take the energy down a little bit. Too much energy.
27-point lead here. Stone fighting. Strode, I believe that's Hansen in the corner there. As they're just going to try to wind this last, little 70 seconds down. As Stone finds Hansen. Finds Stone up high. 55 to go, clock and winding. They're going to intentionally foul.
Looks like they've put most of their seniors in, too, which is good.
Yeah, give them that, last little moment of glory for these teams. As we can hear the warm the buses chanting coming from the rowdy crowd.
53.3 seconds remaining in this game.
You're up by 27.
As an entirety, Pueblo County has lost. And it's an unfortunate way to go out.
Door has been slammed.
The door has been slammed. Forget slamming it. I think it was cracked in the beginning, and then it just closed, like by half.
Yeah, the wind kind of pushed it up closed. Yeah, I mean, moments dwindling now. As Gallegos, what a performance. Whitler also had a great performance. Gardner defensively had one of her better games. A lot of steals, a lot of block opportunities. It just looked incredible all around as this team came alive here. From start to finish, this team was electric, ready to go, made plays happen on both ends of the floor. It's just an impressive win from Frederick. 20 seconds to go. As Hansen, the crowd starting to chant some more.
They're very vocal, and I can appreciate it.
Yeah, it's good to see the crowd kind of pour in for this game. It's one of the more games that you want to be here. 8 seconds to go. Frederick, basically, here's Pueblo County knocking on the door. Did not let him in. Just close the door. Stay away.
The door was locked. 2.9 seconds.
Door was locked. As their Cinderella story ends tonight.
Cinderella turned back into a peasant tonight. Clock struck midnight.
She is going home. Pueblo County.
Just a pumpkin for them to ride back to.
Heading home with a heartbreaking loss. Frederick, the number 7th ranked team, will be advancing to round 3, taking down number 39, Pueblo County, here at home, extending that home win streak to 12-0. What a game!
To remain undefeated even during the pressure of playoffs, and to come out swinging like this, 67-41. What a defiant performance from your Frederick girls basketball team.
Absolute domination. And, you know, it's just amazing. What a game. What a game. As we have seems like a double interview down there on the court, as we will send it down to the floor with
Thanks, Carly. So, girls, amazing game tonight, amazing win. So what kept you guys really locked in? I mean, you guys kept the ball away from them the entire game. So what was going through your guys' mind during these plays?
Honestly, we saw them come out and they're playing knockout for warm-ups, and so I think we all got super ticked. It was honestly we took it as disrespectful, and so we came out and just wanted to put them in the ground.
Yeah, we also didn't want this to be our last game, and that's really our fuel for the whole rest of the season. We got to make it further than we did last year. So.
All right, so obviously you two are both seniors. This is your last home playoff game. Your guys' I've watched firsthand when Peyton went down, your guys' relationship with the coach. He really cares about you. So what's one thing that you would really want to say to him before after your last home game?
I just want to say thanks for everything. He just pushes us in practice, pushes in the games. Will give us coaching feedback, which I always appreciate because you can always grow as a player. But then he's also super excited for you when you reach an accomplishment.
Yeah, I don't know. He's just a great coach overall, I think. So it's something that I've been very blessed with, is having his presence in my life.
All right, thank you, girls. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Back up to you, Carly.
As we are back up here in the booth, what a performance. Frederick will advance, awaiting their next opponent. As tonight's broadcast of varsity girls basketball between the Pueblo County Hornets and your Frederick Golden Eagles has been brought to you by the talented crew of students here on the Golden Eagle Broadcast Network. I've been Junior E. MacHendrie alongside Junior Carly Evans. Our director tonight has been technical producer Mason Trefronic, and Junior Wyatt Morrison. Our camera operators have been Josiah Brittenham and Ethan DeLear. The third member of our team down on the sideline is Junior Allie Fullerton. For everyone at FHS, I'm E. MacHendrie, and you've been watching the Golden Eagle Broadcast Network. Good night, everybody.